us to find this next part of the chart, we're going to write circumference in here. And we just talked about this, so this is pi times d, or 2 pi r. That's all multiplication. And that one's just going to be regular units again. Just a reminder that d is the distance across through the middle. Now, the next one we're going to talk about that goes with that is called arc length. So they asked for the arc length. What that means is the distance just along that edge. So just part of the circumference. So kind of like if you were talking about if you lived on a lake that was completely circular, how much of lake frontage you would have. Like how much of the lake that you actually touch with your, property. So arc length is really similar to the slice idea. Now, they use cursive L for this. So for our length, it's a cursive L. And essentially, it's just like we had before. We take that angle of the center, it's called the central angle, and divide it out of 360. So how much of the circle is actually being used there? And then times the circumference. So times 2 pi r. So we'll do a few examples off the bottom. Actually, we'll go down to the bottom here. So they want the arc length and sector area for DA. Let's actually, just to make ourselves not have to do both of these, let's do arc length for this one, and then sector area for this one. We'll do that over here. So just kind of separating it out. So basically make these two problems. Otherwise we're doing both for both of them and that just takes too long. So arc length. So arc length is basically the part of the circumference. So how far, so DA is from here to here. So that's our DA. We want to find that length. So how much of the lake do we own there? So arc length is L. So the 140 out of 360. So we know we own 140 degrees of that out of the whole lake, times the circumference. So times 2 pi r. So again, I like working backwards with this. So I'm basically going to multiply this way. Just my calculator sometimes will be goofy about order of operations again. So this is arc length. I get 14.7, and this would be, this would be centimeters. So that'd be the arc length. This next one, let's talk about sector area. Now sector area for DA. So DA is this. So the sector area we're talking about is this slice here. So not the little 28. That being said, so sector area is x over 360 times the area, which is 2 pi r squared. But what's my angle this time? It's not 28. Oh. How'd you get that? 180 minus 28. All right, so all the way around is 180, right? That's half of a circle, it's a straight line. So that means we have to figure out that angle by taking 180 and subtracting 28. So we get 152 for this angle. 152 degrees is that big angle. Times 2 pi r. What's r? The radius, which in this case it would be 5. So all the way across is 10. So that means the radius would just be 5. So pi r squared. Just be careful with radius. It's half of that whole diameter there. So you have to cut that in half. And I got 33.2. That'd be inches squared. Now this last part here, this one's a little bit tricky. This is something that one of the chapters we skipped over was having to do with circles. Now, when they talk about this arc length of this little ACB, it's kind of like an angle idea. Sorry, did I go too fast? Did I do something wrong? Okay, no, it's okay. So arc length of ACB. So when it says ACB, that means I want the arc length all the way around here. So I'm going the long way around the lake in this case. So if they want the arc length here, what's my angle going to be in this case? What's that? 295. So 295 sounds right, because we are going to take this little 65-degree angle, and the whole thing is 360. So I have to subtract that 65 from it. So 295, so a big chunk of the circle. Oops, not equals. Times. So I'm going to find my arc length with that. And 56.6, I believe. And that's the arc length. So that's the distance along that edge. And that would be inches in this case. And then they want the area of that shaded sector. So they want the big area. So you ate a majority of the pizza. So it's still that 295 out of the 360 times pi r squared, which is 11 squared. So 311.5, I believe. And that's our area. All right, questions there at all? So homework is listed there for you guys. It is from 2 sections because area, circumference, arc length, that kind of thing, those are 2 different parts.
Can I answer that?
Yeah. That is due for Monday.